what is expression? Okay. On a person, it's a facial expression. Okay. In a word, it's an expression. Okay. Like t-shirts, let's rock. Yeah. Okay. But what is it in music? Okay. So I put a little PDF together. Okay. Put it there. Can you see it? There. Brilliant. So what today's video is all about is making sure you recognise the most common elements of expression and how to use them in a piece of music. Okay, so let's get going. Let's take a look at the score that you can see there. Now then, first of all, there's a lot going on. Okay, we've got andante equals crochet equals 80. What does that mean? Okay, that is referring to a suggested tempo. So that would be 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. It's only suggested. It doesn't mean you've got to be exactly. It just basically means don't play like this. Too fast. Okay, it's meant to be given a suggestion of how that tempo should be. Okay, and crochet equals. Basically, the crochet is going 1. We're going to count with the crochet. We're counting the crochet beat. It's the most common sign you'll see, the crochet equals and a number. Okay. Andante, okay, is the Italian term, basically given to like a walking speed. That's what we're looking at. Okay, it's presto, allegro, all those ones. You're mostly probably going to find andante, allegro, moderato. Those are very, very common. Presto is really fast. Lento is slow as well. Okay, but slower than andante. So that's the first thing you'll see in a piece of music, as well as you'll see the time signature. 4 beats. Okay, 4 crochet beats in a bar. That doesn't mean we've got 4 crochet beats in every bar. Of course it doesn't. It means whatever music is within the bar is actually counted up to a value of 4 crochets. All right. In this music, I've used mostly minims, crochets, and semibreves. Okay, so semibreve worth 4 beats, crochets worth 1, minims worth 2, and you get the idea. Okay, so then we can take a look at the first bits of music. So you get a C chord. Okay, but how loud do you play the C chord? Do you bash it down or play it so you can hardly hear it? Okay, there's an MP, little m, little p, and that's moderately quiet. Okay, so if your natural way of playing is that, for example, try and go a little bit quieter than your normal level. Okay, but not as quiet, not as quiet as you can play it, because that would be P or double P. Okay, so MP, moderately quiet, not too quiet. Make sure it's nice and in place. And in the bass line, you've seen a C with 2 beats and minim, and then 2 crochets. Now, crochets need to be played in a full duration, unless it's staccato, which is something else we'll look at in a moment. But 1, 2, 3, and 4, and. Now, I use the and a lot of teachers do, because it gives the people the ability to count through the duration of that note. 1 and 2 and. Nice way to play it. Okay. And the ped. That's probably self-explanatory. That if your keyboard or piano, if it's acoustic piano, it's got a pedal. If it's electric piano, it should have a pedal. If it's keyboard, it may not. So this only applies to more piano player type instrument. Okay, and the ped means to play it down as you play that note down. Okay, so play it down together. Hear the sustain. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hear it? 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, and then bar 2, we've got on the right hand, we've got a slash chord. Okay, so instead of it being root position, which doesn't always work for us, we can change the position of it, and we can go a G with a D bass there. Okay, now it could also mean you could play a G chord in the right hand in root position, but your bass line is a D. Okay, so on this occasion, I've done it both on the right hand, like that. Okay, G over D is actually written as a G7. So I've not put the number 7 in. Don't worry too much about that. It's an add a little note, G7. But the slash chord is what I'm focused on, and it's a G with a D bass, or there, look, okay? That is still G with a D bass. That is still G with a D bass. They're all slash chords, okay? But if the music shows you that it's going like that. And also, what do you notice? There's a wiggly line, okay? Now, unless there's a little arrow at the bottom or the top occasionally, you glide through that chord, just playing each note of the chord after each other. So it goes 1, 2, 3, 4. That's slow motion, okay? And you go. So try it like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. See there? 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2. Goes down altogether the C because it's not got any them little lines on it. Straightforward. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 1, 2, 3, 4. Again, it's preference. Could go. Try and get the D on the music with your B. Okay, that kind of technique. So we've got an emphasis on the E. All right, a bit more welly. Then, okay, well, it's a Yorkshire term, so I do apologise. It means you get a bit of emphasis, a bit of power. Okay, accent. And what's happening now? We're going to get a little bit louder because we're going to an F. F is forte, F-O-R-T-E, not 40. We're going. And then we're going to go to a D minor chord. Okay. It might sound better if you play the F. Oh, right. Okay, so it's a D minor on your right hand. But when we put that bass line on the F, it really just takes it into an F6 chord. Okay. An extension chord. A normal F chord is F, A, and C, and we're going to add the D, but substitute the C for the D instead, like that. Look, okay. Sounds more minorish than an F chord. When I put the F with it, okay, it gives it a nice dominant sound. That's why it sounds like an F chord more than a D minor. Now, also, apart from playing getting louder there, okay, we've also got staccato. But before that, we talked about staccatos a moment ago. We're going to go from F to A, but keep them joined. Okay, it's not 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, it's 1, 2, 3. See the join? 1, 2. That stays down as that goes up, but really quickly, like a seesaw. 1, 2, 3, 4. So long note and staccato. That's a dot above or below the note head. Sort of sound. Now then, what's happening next is we have, bar 5 is interesting, isn't it? Now listen to this. 2, 3. There's a note there, it's not written, but that little squiggly line is a mordant, and that mordant basically tells the player to play the note above and below, but quite quickly. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4. So bar 6, interesting this one. Okay, first of all we've got dim dot, diminuendo. Okay, which means we're getting gradually quieter. Okay, me quiet. Oh, good luck with that one. Right. Okay, everyone keeps saying I've got a volume button. So you've got your own volume button. F, A, B, and D. Okay. Interesting chord. It's a 7th or 9th chord, right? Depends what we're doing with it. If we put the G down in the bass, there, okay, there we have a G. So I've got a G to an F, that creates a 7th interval. I'm going to play the A now, listen, and that's going above the G octave. So it's 8, 9. So going into like more of a slightly jazz harmony territory, we're going to go like that and play the A down, okay. And then I'm going to add the B, a major 3rd clash there, and then put the 5th on top for good measure. Okay, there we go. And what's happening is I'll took my finger off there, okay? Why? Because these are only worth 3, the dotted minims, okay? And then there's a little squiggly thing. If you ever want to write one of those squiggly things, called rests, and you do a Z over a C, that's the easiest way to write it, okay? But basically it means we don't play there, we just count for that rhythm. In the bass line, we've got another crotchet, kind of showing that it's worth 1 beat there. Okay, but that is a crotchet rest worth 1 beat, okay? So, if you notice as well, above that bar, above bar 6, there's a 1 in the line. So pay attention to that, because that bar is a first time bar, okay? Now, the clue is in the name itself. First time, we play that first time. And then we've got a repeat sign, which is 2 little dots on each staff, okay, like a double bar line. It means to go back to the other repeats. Now, the other repeats, I'll keep pointing there because I've got my music there. The upper repeat is bar 3. What that means, okay, you would play those 4 bars again, okay? So go like this. I'll quickly play through it. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, what happens now if we've just got to that bar 6, we go back to bar 3, okay? Okay, bar 5. And then next time you've played that bar, okay? Don't forget a mordant. That will take you to the second time bar. Okay, so once you play all the way through it to the end of first time bar, repeat it from the first repeat bar. Okay, I'll highlight it in the video. See, just there is your first repeat bar. Okay, then once you've repeated it, we don't play the music in the first time bar. We skip from bar 5 to bar 7. Okay, and this beautiful chord. Have a listen to that. So nice. Okay. Now, interestingly enough, we've got some resolvement on the right-hand chord there. I've highlighted the note it goes to in blue, okay? So it goes F and D. Now, they are held, okay? They're held on for 4 beats. We've got a minim tied to minim. So in the middle of the chord, we've got some movement, okay? We're going to go 1, 2, and then play a B, okay, like that. 1, 2, 3, 4. So like a melody within the chord shape. Such a lovely way to play. 2, 3. Now, it doesn't do a great deal, doesn't it? Apart from, we've got an F minor 6 there. Okay. The bass is obviously dominant as well. So it's root position. Okay, so there. And then we're going to go to a G on the bass. And it makes a G7 chord. Okay. 1, 2, change to B. There, look. 1, 2, 3, 4. Really nice way to play. Try it in different shapes. Okay. And then the bass line, okay, it goes to a B, okay. Oh, it's like wants to resolve. Of course it resolves onto a C chord. Before I play that C chord though, just make sure that you are slurring your left notes. Now, second finger on F, 1, 2, put your G down and then release your F, okay, because that makes a nice continuous smooth connection. 1, 2, 3, and same goes for your B with your left hand there, so it goes down to there, okay. It's not 1, 2, 3, 4, okay, that's gaps. 1, 2, seamless G and B. And then finish on the 4th there. Okay, so it resolves to a C, okay, for 4 beats. So like this, ready? 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Interesting little arrow going down, okay. We've got a spread chord, okay. So like on the second bar, we go, okay, we start on the D and go up to the B. So the D, F, G there, okay. This time we're going to go down. If you notice, I've highlighted it in blue again, and the actual chord is based over a C chord, but we've got an octave, so we've got this here. A good way to play octaves is kind of keep your fingers quite loose, And use your wrist to kind of like push it down a little bit. But want no friction or no tension. Okay, just take your time. If you can't get an octave, don't worry. Just kind of go from the first inversion C chord like that. Same kind of effect because the bass line is there. Okay, so I would do this. Okay, in a nutshell, quick video there, just to kind of go through lots and lots of little things you'll see on your music that you don't probably know what they all are. Here we go. I'm going to play it all the way through with expression. Okay, it might not be the same as this, but we're very, very close if it isn't. Okay, you take care. And if you like playing with expression, check that video out there. I think you'll love that one. See you soon. 2